It was supposed to be the happiest time of my life. I had found the man of my dreams, the wedding date was set, and everything felt like it was finally falling into place. The flowers were picked, the dress fit perfectly, and I had my closest friends by my side, especially her. She wasn't just any friend, she was my childhood best friend. The one who had been there through every heartbreak, every milestone, every late-night phone call when life felt too heavy. Naturally, she was going to be my bridesmaid. I didn't even ask her, I just told her. That's how close we were. Or at least, I thought we were. I trusted her more than anyone outside my family. She knew everything, my fears, my insecurities, even the things I never told my fiancé. We laughed while trying on dresses, cried when I told her how nervous I was about starting this new chapter, and she swore, with tears in her eyes, that she would stand by me no matter what. I believed her. I had no reason not to. But something changed, slowly and silently. At first, I brushed it off. She started canceling meetups. Didn't reply to texts as quickly. Missed a few planning sessions. I figured she was just busy. Life happens. But the small things started adding up. I'd catch her giving strange looks when I talked about the wedding. Her excitement seemed forced, her smiles tight. Still, I pushed the doubts away. I thought maybe I was just overthinking it. I mean, she was my best friend, my bridesmaid, what could possibly go wrong? Then came the night of my bridal shower. A night that was supposed to be filled with love, laughter, and support. But instead, it was the night everything started to unravel. I noticed the way she avoided eye contact, how she barely interacted with my fiancé, and how she left early without saying much. My gut told me something was off, but nothing could have prepared me for what I would discover days later. A message. One I wasn't supposed to see. But once I read it, my world shifted. My heart dropped. I stared at the screen, hands shaking, breath caught in my throat. The girl I called my sister, my future bridesmaid, the one I thought would never betray me, had done something I couldn't believe. It wasn't just about jealousy or drama. It was much deeper. Much more personal. A betrayal that cut through every memory we shared and left me questioning everything, my friendship, my wedding, and even myself. How could someone you trust so much, someone you love like family, hide something so dark behind a smile? I wish I could say I saw the signs earlier. I wish I could say I was strong enough to walk away the moment things felt wrong. But the truth is, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want this story to be real. And yet, here I am, telling it. Because sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who hurt you the most. What she did next broke me. But also changed me forever. We met in middle school. Two shy girls who bonded over a shared love for books and dreams of fairy tale weddings. Over the years, she became more than a friend, she was like a second sister. She was there when my parents separated, when I failed my first college exam, even when my first serious boyfriend cheated on me. She held me through tears, cheered me on during my wins, and promised that when I got married one day, she'd be right there beside me. I never doubted her. When I met Ryan, she was one of the first people I told. She squealed with excitement, hugged me tight, and asked all the right questions. At least, that's how it seemed. From the outside, everything looked normal. But now, looking back, there were moments, small, almost invisible moments, where something didn't feel quite right. Like how she never really asked how things were going between me and Ryan. Or how her compliments about him always sounded a little too careful, like she was holding something back. I told myself I was just being paranoid. After all, not every friend is super expressive. Maybe she was just busy with her own life, her own problems. But now I realize, some silences hide more than just disinterest. The message I found wasn't long, but it was enough. It wasn't meant for me. It was meant for someone else, and it mentioned Ryan. My heart pounded so hard I could barely focus. I read it again and again, trying to make sense of it. The tone, the words, the timing, it all felt wrong. Too personal. Too familiar. Why would she be texting him about things I never even knew? That was when the pit in my stomach started to grow, and it hasn't stopped since. I didn't confront her right away. Honestly, I didn't know what to say. My mind was racing with questions, but my heart was still hoping there was a reasonable explanation. Maybe I misread it. Maybe it was about something innocent. But deep down, I knew better. The way she'd been acting, the change in her energy around Ryan, it all started making sense. I started paying closer attention. Watching how she spoke to him, how she looked at him when she thought I wasn't noticing. It wasn't just friendliness. There was something else. A kind of tension. And Ryan, he'd grown distant too. Blaming stress or work, brushing off date nights, always checking his phone. At first, I thought it was just wedding pressure, but now I wasn't so sure. Meanwhile, she was still pretending everything was fine. Still messaging me with bridal tips, still sending links to hairstyles, still calling me her girl. It was like watching someone wear a mask, and I couldn't believe I hadn't seen it before. Every moment started to feel like a lie. Every laugh we shared, every secret I trusted her with, it all came back like a punch to the gut. Then, out of nowhere, another friend of mine, someone we both knew, sent me a screenshot. She said she didn't want to get involved, but felt I deserved to know. It was a DM. Between her and Ryan. And it wasn't innocent. It wasn't about the wedding. It was something else. Too close. Too personal. My hands went numb. I couldn't breathe. Still, I didn't say a word. Not to Ryan. Not to her. I needed to know the full truth. I needed to be sure before everything fell apart. Because if what I suspected was real, then this betrayal ran deeper than I ever imagined. I started to feel like a stranger in my own life. Every conversation with Ryan felt forced, every moment with her felt fake. And yet, I kept smiling. I kept planning the wedding. I kept pretending everything was fine. But inside, I was breaking. I didn't know who to trust anymore. The girl who was supposed to stand next to me in my white dress, holding my hand as I said I do, might have been holding a secret that could destroy everything. I began collecting pieces of the puzzle. Old messages, suspicious glances, vague excuses. I didn't want to believe it, but the signs were everywhere. Late-night calls she claimed were work stuff. Him going silent whenever her name came up. She started posting cryptic quotes on social media, about heartbreak, about difficult choices, about what's meant to be. And even though she never mentioned names, I knew they were about us. Or maybe, them. The weight of pretending was eating me alive. I barely slept. I'd wake up with my heart racing, my mind replaying every conversation, every shared moment, wondering what was real and what was just a cover. I was planning a wedding while planning for heartbreak at the same time. Then came the rehearsal dinner. A night meant for joy and celebration. Both of them were there. Laughing. Acting normal. I watched them closely. Their body language, their expressions when they thought no one was watching. And that's when it happened. She leaned in and whispered something to him. He froze. Just for a second. But I saw it. That split second of panic in his eyes. He glanced at me, and I knew he realized I was watching. That moment changed everything. I wasn't just suspicious anymore. I was sure. And I was ready. His eyes met mine across the room, and for a moment, the noise around us faded. That split-second glance told me everything. He knew I knew. But before I could even process what to do next, she walked over to me, calm, smiling, holding 2 glasses of champagne like everything was picture perfect. To your big day, she said, raising her glass. I forced a smile, clinking my glass to hers, trying not to show the storm building inside me. My hands were trembling, but I kept my face steady. I had come this far. I wasn't going to break now. I thought that moment would be the hardest part. I was wrong. Later that night, after the dinner, I got a message. Not from Ryan. Not from her. But from someone I hadn't heard from in a long time, her ex. A guy she dated years ago, who I only ever spoke to during double dates. His message was short. You need to know something about her. Check your email. I almost didn't open it. I thought maybe it was just drama, something unrelated. But my curiosity, and my growing desperation for the truth, got the better of me. What I saw next made my chest tighten. Screenshots. Dozens of them. Emails, messages, voice notes. All from months ago. Some were between her and Ryan, yes, but others were between her and another guy. A name I didn't recognize. The worst part? These messages dated back to before Ryan and I got engaged. She wasn't just betraying me now, she had been lying long before the wedding plans even started. She was involved in something else, something bigger than I had imagined. And Ryan, he wasn't the only man she'd been talking to behind people's backs. Suddenly, this wasn't just about a stolen fiancé or a broken friendship. This was about someone who had been manipulating lives, mine included, for reasons I still didn't understand. Was I just collateral damage in some twisted game? Or was there something deeper she had been hiding all along? My heart pounded as I scrolled through the messages. Every word felt like another stab. She wasn't just my best friend. She was someone I never really knew. And now, everything, my wedding, my future, my trust, was hanging by a thread. The night before the wedding, I couldn't sleep. My dress hung in the corner of the room, perfectly steamed and ready. But everything inside me was unraveling. The messages, the secrets, the look on Ryan's face at the rehearsal dinner, it all kept replaying in my mind. I knew I couldn't walk down that aisle without the truth. So I made a decision. I would confront both of them face to face, before the ceremony. That morning, I asked them to meet me in the bridal suite under the pretense of going over last-minute details. They came in together, both smiling, both pretending everything was fine. I closed the door and locked it behind me. I know, I said simply. No screaming. No drama. Just 3 words that stopped them cold. Ryan tried to speak, but I held up my phone. The screenshots. The messages. Her ex's email. All of it. She went pale. He looked down. The silence between us was louder than anything I'd ever heard. I asked them one question, why? He stumbled through some excuse about confusion, about pressure, about not knowing how to tell me. She, on the other hand, didn't even try to deny it. I didn't mean for it to go this far, she said. It just happened. That's when I realized it wasn't about love. It wasn't even about Ryan. It was about control. About her always needing to feel one step ahead, even if it meant stepping over me. I told them both the wedding was off. I walked out of that room with my head high, heart shattered but pride intact. Guests were waiting, music was playing, but I took the mic, thanked everyone for coming, and told them there wouldn't be a wedding. Some gasped. Some cried. But I felt free. And just when I thought the drama was over, I got a message later that evening. From the unknown guy she had also been texting. I know you don't know me, it said, but she lied to me too. And I think we both deserve to know the full truth. Call me. That's when I knew her betrayal didn't end with me. I wasn't the first. And I probably wouldn't be the last. I never did call him back that night. I needed space, needed to breathe without more truth hitting me all at once. But the next day, when the dust started to settle, I reached out. We met at a quiet coffee shop a few blocks from my apartment. He was calm, polite, and strangely familiar, like someone who'd also been walking around with invisible wounds. He showed me everything. More texts. Voice notes. Even pictures. She had been living a double life, juggling lies between people who never even knew the others existed. What shocked me most wasn't how far it all went, it was how natural she was at hiding everything. This wasn't a moment of weakness or a one-time mistake. It was a pattern. A habit. She built her life around control, manipulation, and watching people fall apart while she stood by pretending to help them pick up the pieces. I started to see clearly for the first time. It wasn't just betrayal, it was a wake-up call. I had spent so much time trying to protect a friendship that never truly existed the way I thought it did. I ignored red flags. I gave endless benefit of the doubt. All because I didn't want to believe that someone so close to me was capable of this. In the weeks that followed, I canceled all the wedding bookings, blocked her and Ryan, and started therapy. It wasn't easy. Some days I felt lost. Other days, I felt relieved. But slowly, I began to heal. I surrounded myself with people who genuinely cared, family, true friends, even old acquaintances who reached out with support after hearing what happened. The biggest lesson I learned is this: betrayal doesn't define you, it reveals them. And sometimes, the person who breaks your heart the most is the one you trusted with it completely. But healing comes when you finally choose yourself. Today, I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm grateful. Grateful that the truth came out before I committed my life to someone who never truly loved me. Grateful that I saw the mask fall before it was too late. She was supposed to be my bridesmaid, but instead, she became the reason I found my strength.